1220 KHTS, your hometown station. We're here with the Providence Holy Cross Hour, talking today to Sherri Mendelson, who happens to be the Director of Nursing Research and the Magnet Program Director at Providence Holy Cross. I'd love to talk a little bit more about your nursing research program and give me an idea of one of the things you're working on now as far as research is concerned.
Well, we have 3 nurses on one of the medical surgical units who had a question: how can we make sure that patients get the best care possible and make sure that nurses are able to give the best care possible? And so they initiated a study called Give Me a Break. And that particular study was looking at having a break relief nurse, whether the investment of funds into having a break relief nurse would make a difference as far as allowing nurses not only to take a break, because they were taking a break, but they weren't taking a relaxed break, because they always felt that they were still needed. But because if the patient needed to go home, that they felt like there was nobody there who could, give the discharge instructions and get the patient ready to go home. And so they didn't feel relaxed. They felt like they had to hurry their break. And now they have somebody who is fully capable of taking care of that patient, not just, the person's on break, but I'm looking at, I'm looking over the patient. Mm-hmm. I'm taking care of the patient. And so that person truly is on break.
And it's so important. I do love the sassy connotation of that too, mm-hmm. because I love that. Oh, give me a break, because you reach that point sometimes where it's the last straw, on your back, and the idea that you name the study, that is very adorable. But nurses, I've seen them on their quote break, where they're over like doing some other paperwork, or they're talking to the nurse and that's relieving them, and they're cutting into their time. But no, I want to make sure. So I love the idea that you, in your program at Providence Holy Cross, are looking out for what ultimately will be the best for the patient when it's all said and done, because that nurse now feels like her position and her importance in that is giving her an opportunity to really recharge her batteries, because we don't want someone who's just exhausted and hasn't quite had what they require to do their optimum, to do their best job.
Correct. And it's made quite a difference for the nurses, to the extent that other units, now that they've completed the study and are showing some good benefits, both financially and to patients and to the staff, they are now spreading that practice to other units. And I think that's one of the real important aspects of nursing research.
Ripple effect?
The ripple effect. I think that's a great term for it, is really showing that something works. And it's not something enormously new.
Right.
It may be something that we're adopting from somewhere else, but adopting it to fit our own needs. And so translational research like that is research that's been done, but you are now fitting it to your own needs perhaps, or showing that it works in your setting with your patients, and that you are now able to spread it to other units.
Take a couple of minutes and walk me through your research fellowship program.
Yes, we are actually just about to launch our research fellowship program. And for a number of years, we've had a research course at the hospital that has been open to our nurses. And we've had a very good turnout over the years for that course. And nurses who are interested in participating in research, but we haven't had the ability, the capability of having nurses take time from their busy days to engage in the research. And research takes time. It takes time and energy. But we were the recipients of a very generous grant from within the Santa Clarita Valley from a donor, and we are very grateful to them for that. And that will now allow us to begin to have nurse researchers, nurse research fellows, who can attend the class without taking a vacation day, and who can then have time from their work unit in order to conduct their research, conduct the literature search so that we know what's current, and conduct the actual research study. And myself and our chief nursing officer, Ann DeCaro Marino, and our director of education, Andrea Collier, have been very pivotal in making this happen with our foundation.
You must be very proud. The idea that you are doing something that is far, far reaching has to be such a wonderful feeling for everyone involved, that you're, again, as we say, impacting very likely other students, other hospitals, where they look at you as a pillar in what is happening in research for nursing, for medicine. I just have to believe that that's an awesome feeling to know that this close, Providence Holy Cross is helping create something that is going to be long-lasting and far-reaching. So, yay for that donor for being a part of this. Now, insofar as bringing in new nurses, I'm a little curious about that. How you bring the best of the best of the best to you. I mean, I know that the best of the best want to be part of what you're doing, but I'm very curious how that process happens also, and we'll talk a little bit about that. We're going to take a very short break, and when we come back, we'll learn a little bit more about some of the people you're working with, some of the people you're going to be working with, and a little bit more about Providence Holy Cross here on the Providence Holy Cross Hour on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Welcome back to your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. We're here with the Providence Holy Cross Hour. We are talking with Sherri Mendelson, who's the Director of Nursing Research and the Magnet Program Director also at Providence Holy Cross. We've been talking a lot about the Nursing Magnet Program and the research that you have there at the hospital. I'm curious, I have to believe that you guys you set a standard, and you are someone that a nursing student looking with their eye on the prize, that you have to be one of those places. How do you go about looking for your candidates? What are you looking for in that Excalibur candidate? And I know we've talked about you look for what they've studied and what their area of expertise is. Are there other ideas that when you're looking for those candidates to come in to be the best of the best? Because if someone's studying right now and they think, oh, I should be polishing up that aspect of my learning or my personality, what are some of the things? I know you can't cover them all.
Well, I think that's an excellent question, though, and I think that one of the things is somebody who is learning-oriented. We look for candidates, ideally, who have a bachelor's degree. And so some of the people listening right now might think, oh, so you don't consider College of the Canyon candidates. College of the Canyons is paired with CSUN for their excellent program for continuation to bachelor's degree. So that's an excellent example of the kind of student who looks very motivated to complete education, who we would be potentially looking at. And we really look for a candidate who shows the compassion and the caring that is part of the foundation of nursing at Providence Holy Cross.
Wonderful. Tell me a little bit about some of your colleagues or some of the people that oversee this program that you work with, that you could maybe tell us a little bit about their involvement and how they're helping this program too.
Well, I'll tell you two things. One is that our chief nursing officer and some of the leaders within nursing are very engaged in research, understand it, promote it, really have supported it greatly. And one example of that is a shared governance study that was done recently, headed by our chief nursing officer, to really look at how nurses see their involvement in the decisions that are being made within nursing at the hospital. And because if you don't know what they think, you can't fix what they don't think is working.
Good point. Now, your chief nursing officer, if I meet them on the street and I want to shake their hand and say thank you, what's their name?
Ann DeCaro Marino.
Ann DeCaro Marino. And the idea that everyone is working, again, the powers that be, everyone who's leading this also has to have an incredible standard of excellence to help drive this program.
Correct. And really have an understanding of nursing and what makes nursing excellent.
And I love the idea that they're the people saying, well, let's take a look at things maybe we hadn't thought about. In production, they call that seeing around corners.
Yep.
And so the idea that you guys really do have to think, what else can we bring to the table? What else can we be thinking of as the directors of this?
Correct. And I think that we also are very involved in looking at what is the future tense for patients. And for example, within that, what will keep patients from having falls? We don't want patients falling. We want them to be safe. We want patients to have the right medications at the right times and not be in pain. What will do that? What are the right ways to make that happen? And so research within nursing can help answer some of those questions so that we can give the best possible care, the safest possible care to our patients and our families. And when I say families, there is also the potential for research on what makes patients the most satisfied. Is it having family there all the time? And
I'm going to go with no on some of those. I'm going to go with no. Big sign on the door. Keep so-and-so out.
There you go. And how do you do that, and how does that work? And so within the realm of research, looking at things like patient satisfaction and how to make that happen in the best way possible that also really helps them get better sooner.
I think that's wonderful. In addition to the questions that come from your nursing staff or maybe from your doctors to assist your research, do you ever have a suggestion box in the patient rooms? Or do you take anecdotal stories from your nurses that come in and say, well, the patient said or asked?
I think that's just an outstanding question. And we have suggestion boxes for the nurses on some of the units.
Excellent.
We do patient surveys on after they've gone home. And we
that's
take
where
those
some of your research questions. Excellent.
And we take those surveys very seriously. And they also have an opportunity to send in cards with their suggestions, with what went well, what we could have done better, and we take those very seriously as well. And sometimes they do evolve into studies.
Very wonderful. Sherri Mendelson, again, Director of Nursing Research and Magnet Program Director over at Providence Holy Cross. Thank you so much for being here today. And we invite you to come back again for the Providence Holy Cross Hour taking place third Wednesday of every month here on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Again, Sherri, thank you so very much.